Alright, I wanted to be mechanech to dedicate this new piece that I got at the store today. I have a hands-free device, so now when I make my videos while I'm driving, I don't have to worry about anything. I don't, like this morning, I passed by the police and I was a little scared, even though it wasn't me they pulled over somebody else. So now I don't have to be scared anymore because I have the hands-free item here. And so for such a thing like this, it's Kedai to start off with Torah. I said before that I wanted to say something on the Sedra. Last week's Sedra, what I said last week at work, and it's Kedai to share it. Everybody asks is a very famous question, Ma Inyan Shemitah Etzel Har Sinai. Why is Parshas Behar say Har Sinai when talking about Shemitah? What does that have to do with anything? And then, of course, many different answers. There's an answer that appeals to me very much, is that Har Sinai is the greatest apologetic argument that I've ever come across. It's not to say we base our faith solely on apologetics. We have our own personal experiences of spirituality, but though, I mean, that's a different argument, Oh, did I make the wrong turn here? This isn't 306, is it? No. Alright. So, I don't know where I am now. Oh. I gotta turn around somewhere. But or figure out where I am. Or whatever it is. I'll figure it out. It's not the end of the world. Montebello. I don't know where I am. The village of Montebello. Isn't this all the way the opposite direction? Alright, I can't hold up traffic. I don't know where I am. I'll figure it out. West. So I don't want to go west. Do I want to go? Yeah, I do want to go west. I want to go north. How do I get to the Palisades? That's all I want to know. Anyway, maybe I should turn around. Etzel Har Sinai, the whole question of whether there's a appeal to apologetics or not is a question that a lot of people ask. I remember there's a shir from Moshe Weinberger, he said that, it's like this: if you are saying, someone asks you, why do you love your spouse? If you give a whole list of reasons, you're in trouble, because then someone else could come along with a better list. The same thing is with religion. If you say all the apologetic arguments is why you believe in your faith, and that's the reason why, then your faith is in trouble. But if you said, but the thing is, that's not to say that those reasons don't exist. Meaning, your relationship with your significant other is filled with practical reasoning. Why someone holds on to this relationship. That's certainly true. If it was negative, if it was bad, hopefully a normal person wouldn't stay in such a relationship. But there are plenty of good relationships, and why this one and not another one? Same thing. There are plenty of good religions, plenty of bad religions. Why this one, not another one? And then you have your apologetic response. They also have good apologetics. I really believe, though, that Judaism has the best apologetics. But the thing is still, if someone would come along with a better apologetic argument, so that abandon your faith? I hope not. You know, I mean, like, this is great. I think this goes into 306 just the other way. I made a wrong turn here. So, the same thing, you know, we don't base our, but then there's a feeling that you have, a feeling you have about your spouse, a feeling you have about your faith that does not enter into words, that you cannot describe why you have this feeling. It just is. Alright, is this the 306? No, this is Porsche Roads. This is not... Oh, I see what I did. So, but the thing is, the feelings can also be, you know, sometimes people have feelings that are wrong, you know. It really has to be a mix of both, you know. I mean, I went and did some Hasidic things today, you know. I went to visit the Hasidic Rebbe. I went to Kivrei Tzadikim, to the graves of Rebbes, made a pilgrimage, which are things that I used to do more of and don't do as much anymore, but I'm not throwing away. But once in a while, to get some chizik or just whatever is, and then the Rebbe sent me on an errand, and you know, it's time to meditate on these things, to be mindful and so forth. When you're involved in something like that, it's a nice thing. So, I'm involved in these things today. But I'll tell you something, you know, there's a feeling when you go into a Rebbe. There's a feeling when you go to Kivrei Tzadikim. Sometimes different Rebbes and different Kvarim, different Mekaymis HaKadoshim, engender different feelings, different emotions, different experiences, spiritual experiences. I certainly have seen that in my life. But the interesting thing is sometimes you go elsewhere and you strangely will find similar experiences. This is you know, I remember I was invited by the president and founder of the Holocaust Museum in Richmond, J. Ibsen. I mean, it's unfortunate what they did to him. He's a fine person, he really doesn't deserve what happened to him there, how they kind of forced him into retirement when it was his baby, you know, it's his place. That was years ago already, but things changed, you know. It wasn't fair what they did to me in Richmond either, you know. It's just how it is, you know. But I see I'm not the only victim there, I don't know, whatever. I mean, he had a malchus there, Jay Ibsen, you know, and then the way they threw him out, like, I don't know. So anyway, and he deserved it, you know. So he invited me, all the local rabbanim, but I was very close with him until a certain point when people said lashon hara about me, and he didn't want to talk to me anymore, and he lost all respect for me. But I still had respect for him, and I don't blame him, you know. Just people say things, whatever, you know. And and I spoke to him about it, and whatever it was, you know, it was political nonsense, you know. Too much Ahavas Yisrael, that you know, I love all Jews, you know, even Jews who a lot of people disagree with, and even who I disagree with, but you know, whatever, he was upset at me about it. And anyway, so I remember he invited me to the Holocaust Museum for, I don't know if it was his wedding anniversary or his birthday party or something he had there. And you know, I remember he was a member he was always complaining about Jay, and and I always was defending him, like, he said, oh, whatever, I don't know, he liked to daven Flama. They had a minyan there every day in the conservative shul, and mikveh there also. I'm on the right road now, so I don't have to worry about that. And he, whatever, he didn't like how he davened Flama with something, I don't know, he was fighting with him about something about the way he was davening, and Jay liked to daven Flama, so whatever, he has a shul there, he had a shul there in the museum, and so he tried to start his own minyan in the museum, whatever, it didn't work out, I don't know. And so why am I telling a story? So I was at so the other complaint that the conservative rabbi had was, how do you have weddings and parties and stuff? His daughter's wedding was there at the museum. How do you use the Holocaust Museum for events? And in a way, it's not much worse than the state of Israel. I think, but maybe that's what he was upset about. That I would say something like that. But then, on the other hand, it's you know what I'm saying there? It's like to express something like that, he's showing victory. It's not dancing on the graves of our martyrs. It's showing that we're still alive. That's Am Yisrael Chai, Vod Avinu Chai. Mamish. I don't know. That's how I feel about it. Anyway, I didn't say that to the rabbi, though. I was respectful. It's an older man, But with the davening, I tried to defend him a little bit, whatever it was. Jay is older than the rabbi, so so I was there at some party he had there, and I was introduced. I think Jay introduced me to the bishop. Maybe it's a cardinal. I don't know if it was a cardinal or it was a bishop or a cardinal. The Catholic cardinal there from Richmond. And I shook his hand, and he said hello to me, and I said hello to him. I felt something spiritual. I'm ashamed to say, like going to a Rebbe, and I shouldn't say I'm ashamed to say, but a lot of people will be upset at me for saying that. I felt like that's why I'm saying it. I really shouldn't say that. But that being said, the lesson there is that our feelings don't mean anything. Because you can feel the same thing in the wrong place. And also what I learned later, especially learning from Rabbi Bar Tzadok, is that spirituality, it goes through the same pipes, whatever your spiritual walk is. The extrasensory perception that every human being has for his spiritual walk, we all have that. It's like a telephone. You can call a telephone. You can call, a good place. You can call a bad place. You can call a mediocre place. You can call a neutral place. It's the same telephone, and so that's why I think that experience was like that. It's interesting, feelings that we have in different places. I went to Yellowstone Park and I felt like it was in Eretz Yisrael. There's a feeling when you go to Eretz Yisrael. Same feeling when you go to Kivrei Tzadikim. Like Nachum Breslover says from the Baal Shem Tov, that you go to Mezhrish, you go to the Baal Shem Tov's kever, it's you're in Eretz Yisrael. And it's the same thing when you go to Kivrei Tzadikim. So I went to Yellowstone Park and I felt that. It's funny. I went to Hilka Mora. And I didn't feel anything. I was curious to see, it's a historical place, but it was for a different religion. If you don't know what it is, you don't have to know what it is. but I happened to be in the area, and my wife was curious to see it also because of her background. And so we went, not for any religious reason, just to see something, that's historically significant in American history. And I didn't feel anything, though. I thought I would. I thought, I'd meet some aliens there, or angels or something, because I tend to believe that, these type of people who make these claims they're not imagining. It's just that they're encountering things that are fooling them, So anyway, but the point is Rabbi Weinberger says, the feelings. So I had the same feeling to go to a Rebbe to when I said hello to the Cardinal, So feelings aren't really what's, obviously I know in my heart I'm a Jew and Judaism, but to me it's more about Judaism being the true religion that draws me, not a patriotism about being a Jew. It's a spiritual truth. I don't know. It's just how it is. So anyway, back to the apologetics of Judaism are the strongest apologetics. We're coming up to Shavuos, and millions of people at Mount Sinai. A story like that, you can't make up a story like that. You can't get away with it. No one would believe it, and everyone always believed it until 200 years ago. No one even questioned it. So how would you get away with telling a story like that? Even you want to say, they made it up later. Ezra made it up. How would Ezra convince the people that happened? It doesn't. It's the most convincing apologetic argument. It's the national revelation. It's like I said. I always give the example. If someone says, they met aliens in a flying saucer in the middle of the woods, you take it or leave it. You're not going to change your life over something like that. Some people might, but you take it or leave it. If someone says, it happened in the middle of the Super Bowl that the aliens came down, you're like, wait a second, I would have heard about that on the news, Even if I wasn't watching the Super Bowl, I would have heard about that, You can't make up a story like that, and to say, and you saw it, which is what Moses said to people, that for sure you can't make it up. So that's just basically, it's the same thing at Mount Sinai, that the whole people heard God. You can't make up a story like that. It had to be true, or else the story wouldn't have survived so long. It wouldn't have survived 5 minutes if it wasn't true. Okay. So now what? So we have everyone asks, she asks, it's like, the classic Jewish idiom. It's like, what does that have to do with the price of tea in China? What does a sabbatical year have to do with Mount Sinai? And I think, the answer is like this. It's one thing, the argument people could say about national revelation, that was 3,300 years ago. Show me something now. Okay, let's show there, like a place, from farm there in Israel, Eretz Israel, they were keeping Shemitah. A plague of locusts came, attacked all the crops, and they flew right over Kamamias. Not one locust stepped foot in Kamamias. Alright, so that was in the 50s, so 60 years ago. What about today? I saw, I was in Eretz Israel Shemitah year. When I was learning in Yeshiva in Yerushalayim, it was Shemitah year. I guess what was that? 2000, 2001, 2002, something like that, I don't remember. And I remember one day the whole sky turned like orange, and it started raining mud, like it was a sandstorm but a rainstorm together, and it was like raining mud. That was weird enough, Then we went to bed, forgot about it, went inside, 4, 5, 6 in the morning, wherever it was. Got woken up, gotta come to this medrash, gotta come to the study hall, the synagogue, get buckets. The roof is dripping in. Excuse me. See, I can blow my nose because I have the hands-free thing. So, we got the buckets, looked out the window, the streets, we're Sameach, that's Rechov Shimon Tzadik. And the whole street was flooded. The water was past the wheels of the big Egged buses, and those big garbage containers they call them frogs or something, I don't know. They were floating like toy boats in a bathtub, And by like 10 in the morning, there weren't even bubbles on the ground. It was all dried up. This was after Pesach, when they say, in Chutzlar, it's like now it's raining. The Pinchas Karetz says rain during Sphira is very blessed, very healthy, very, very great. But in Eretz Israel, they always say that the rain after Pesach, it's not. Rain is only supposed to fall from after Sukkot until Pesach. But once Pesach comes, it's not supposed to rain anymore. If it rains, it's going to ruin the crops. So what happened? They told us in Yeshiva what happened. That the crops of the farmers who were not keeping Shemitah were ruined. The crops of the people who were keeping Shemitah were blessed. So, my Indian Shemitah Tzal Har Sinai, that's it. That the Shemitah, if you can't accept Har Sinai as an apologetic proof of the Torah's being true, so wait till the 7th year, wait till Shemitah, you're going to see what happens to the Holy Land in that year and the year before it. You're going to see God is real. This is not a game. This is not a joke. This is true. This is the Word of God. Again, everybody has their own thing. Everybody has their own religion. You might not find yourself feeling that way. I understand that. But for me, it works. I don't push on others, but for me, this is why I cling to my Bible, like Obama asked the bitter clingers, cling to their guns and their Bibles. I don't have any guns, but I do cling to my Bible because it's not out of bitterness, it's because it's true. At least that's what I believe. I'm not going to abandon it just over this, I remember last night I was watching a video on YouTube with Tagameiser, and he was talking about why does cryptozoology fail? Zoology. First he says, well, you can't go to college and have, and get a PhD in cryptozoology, so it's not really science. Yeah, because that's measured science. All right, thing is like he then he goes, he says, that often cryptozoology is related to creationism, and then he just went and made fun of the Bible and everything. I see there's much more bitterness in the secular society than there is in the religious society, because the secular people are miserable. They don't have true joy in life. They're searching for something and they don't have it. Their soul is crying out to them. They have a hole in their soul that only God can fill. And I feel bad for these type of people because they're so bitter. And I see the same thing, in Bloomingburg. These bitter secular Jews, commie Jews, pinkos, they're so angry and hate-filled. And then you see the Hasidim, they're so happy, they're so full of life and love, and they're just so happy to be in a beautiful country atmosphere, even though it's not really like country there, compared to like where I live. And then where I live, it's not even like country compared to where my parents live. And they're not that far from one another, but it's just like, they're just so happy to get out of Brooklyn, and they're just, it's just so wonderful, and they're pioneers, and they feel like they're important, and it's just so wonderful, and at the same time, I remember I was in Manhattan with my wife and my kids. I did a wedding in Central Park a few years ago, and you look in the street and you see everybody walking around, they're so sad, and then you see the Hasidim, men, women, children, all have smiles on their faces. They're all so happy because they have Simchas HaChaim. It's so wonderful. It's such a wonderful thing to be, to have a relationship with God. The people who sometimes in the community who are miserable, it's because they don't have a relationship with God. They might wear all the clothes, they might even do everything they're supposed to, but they don't really build that relationship with the Almighty. That's what really Hasidic Judaism is all about. Is having that personal relationship with God, taking time to talk to God like He's your best friend. I know that's what the Breslover Hasidim say, but really all the Hasidim really, have that God is supposed to be your best friend. You can sit and talk to God like you talk to your best friend, because God is your best friend. Some people say, well, that's not respectful. We say, blessed art thou, not blessed are you. We have to. But God loves us. He's our King, but He's also our Father. Avinu Malkeinu. So anyway, I saw a similar article. I was trying to find, probably my favorite modern day paleontologist, Robert Bacher. Always been my favorite. Whenever I'd see him on a documentary on TV. My wife met Jack Horner, and she wasn't that impressed by him. And neither of us ever met Bob Bacher, but I enjoy his books. But also, just when you watch him on TV, he's this hippie guy with the big beard and the hat and everything. It's like, this guy's cool, And I found out, actually, on a video that was not putting down religion, but putting down creationism, which is different, to say, he's like, I respect religious people. It was a different video. He was Trey the Explainer. I don't remember who it was. But he said, the problems with creationism. He's like, Robert Bacher is a Pentecostal preacher, but he believes in evolution. He believes in the theistic evolution. That God used evolution to make all of these things. And I was like, this guy is so cool, Bob Bacher. I want to see, is there anything on YouTube, like one of his sermons or something? Like, I'd love to see him preach, I love to see how does this guy, because he's such a good speaker, he's so cool, he's so, fun to listen to, and I couldn't find anything. I found little quotes here and there, but not like, I want to see a video or hear an audio recording of one of his sermons. Nothing. And maybe someone will find one. I'm fascinated to see something like that, because I didn't know he was. I didn't even know he was religious. And here he's a pastor. That's like, it's fascinating. And so I found this article that was, just this, and you see, he's happy. You see, this is a man who's filled with love because he's a religious guy. He's filled with joy in his life. And I found this one article in my search where this guy, this bitter atheist, was like, religion ruins everything. He's like, here's a guy, he's a scientist, but he believes in God, and it just ruins everything. And like, his arguments were just so empty and stupid, like bitter. Obama's saying the religious people are bitter. No, it's the atheists who are bitter. It's the so-called liberals who are really not liberal at all. We should give them the title. It's ironic to call the left liberal, because they're the most fascistic, ridiculous, crazy people. They just want everything to be their way. They can't understand that not everything is their way. I mean, I'm a very religious person. I try to be, at least, and it doesn't bother me that not everybody follows my religion, or even people of my own religion don't follow my way. That's none of my business. That's not. Why should that ruin my day? That that if someone is doing something different than I do, it's none of my business. But they're against us so much. They're just filled with hatred. In our community in White Lake, they tried to shut us down so many times, and they just spread just horrible slander against our rabbi, and they're just so bitter and filled with hatred. The liberals there. It's just like, I don't understand. The people at Temple Bethel, they're just so bigoted and hateful. Like, they just can't stand that in their backyard that there's an Orthodox shul that welcomes everybody, and it's open all year round, not like their little, summertime club that they have there, whatever. Anyway, whatever. I wish them well. I just wish we could be better neighbors, that's all. So, whatever. That being said, I don't know, where else I go with this. I don't know. How do we find that balance, between apologetics and emotions? It's hard. And that's one of the dichotomies of life. Also, don't insist on everything being black and white. I was talking about this at work recently. There was just back with the liberal Jews. I applied at a particular synagogue for a job, and I looked at their website, and it wasn't Orthodox synagogue. Just curious, always, I need a job, whatever. And these people are so spiritual and uplifting and wonderful. Like, they're not filled with all the nonsense of the gender equality, language, and this and that. They're egalitarian, but in a normal way, not in a like lost their brains way, like maybe I'm wrong, but like whatever, they had this like beautiful songs in English, like that were just filled with emunah, with faith and with Torah and just values and spirit, and just I was like, wow, I love this. Like this, I could be in a place like this. I could shepherd this flock. I could be a pastor say to my neighbors and friends and family who belong to Reform and Conservative shuls, go to temple more often. Don't just go for a bar mitzvah. Don't just go for the high holidays. When you don't have anything to do Shabbos morning, go to temple. Maybe you're going to get something out of it. Maybe they're going to get something out of it. I mean, and again, people are going, well, but those are not our, just like they told Billy Graham, well, those are not our type of church. And they're going to tell me that's not our type of shul. But, not everything's perfect, Yeah, of course it's better. I should go to Orthodox shuls. But some people are just scared by mechitza. I mean, it's a phobia, it has no reason to it. It's just a irrational phobia that people have when they see that mechitza. That's just how it is, but I don't know, whatever it is. Whatever, it is how it is. Let's put that aside for now, but there are folks who can get something out of get spirituality out of these places, and the problem isn't the mechitza, and it's not even the egalitarian. The problem with the reform is the heresy, but even that they can still find some spirituality, but until they get to the point where they're really good tshuva, that maybe I mean, sometimes it's the blind leading the blind, but whatever it is, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know. I just try to be more positive. Back to what I was saying about apologetics and Shemitah and all these things, we got to learn, we got to see, that's the thing, if someone is going to learn that God is real, the Torah is real, and a shul where men and women sit together, then it's worth it, and they give them an aliyah, even though they have a woman rabbi, but the woman is teaching Torah, it's not so bad. The problem with these places is more the heresy. Is that, they teach that there's no resurrection, that the Torah is not from heaven. And then that's bad enough. And then now they're getting into things that are just so against just basic morality and ethics that, it's whatever, I don't know. The world's not a perfect place. That's just how it is. I mean, and society is really down the toilet. But let's look at the positive things, I mean, everybody's so upset about this, that I made this video before about, Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner flying on Shabbos, and we should be happy that they asked the Rav, that they're trying to keep Shabbos. We should be happy, instead of being like someone was like, oh, she's not really Jewish now. What are you talking? Do you even know halacha? I mean, even the Shulchan Aruch plainly says even somebody is chosel suro, meaning somebody goes back to their old religion, they're still Jewish. You can't have it both ways. You want to count every secular Jew as Jewish, and you don't want to count a religious ger or gioris as Jewish because maybe they did something a little wrong. I mean, she's not a apikoris. She didn't deny God. She believes in the Torah. She davens erlich, what I heard. She tries her best, but she asked the Shiloh and she got the psak. Is it your business that the Rav she went to gave a different psak than your Rav? How do you mind? bias on everybody. Like, every frum Jew feels like they have bias on every other frum Jew. What's it your business? I just don't understand. I don't know. I've talked too much already. This video, again, didn't seem that long, but it's long as opposed to the last video that seemed long and wasn't long. So I hope people enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Let's try to be positive. Let's try to be happy. Let's try to fill our lives with God. Let's try to... Oh, that's what I wanted to say. I was talking about in school, how everybody wants, in work, everyone wants everything to be black and white. Everyone wants everything to be simple. It's not that simple. Life is complicated. The world is complicated. I remember Rabbi Dr. David Gottlieb, a great Talmid Chacham, an Erlich Hasidic Yid, and also a secular scholar, a PhD. Great, a Geschmack Yid. He was given a lecture on the problems with the theory of evolution. And at the end of his lecture, he said, I'm not telling you to become a Bible-thumping creationist. I'm just saying there are questions with the theory of evolution, and there are questions with creationism. And they are both flawed. And he said, probably creationism is even more flawed than evolution. But don't just take things at face value. I mean the same thing. I'm listening to Dr. Greer. I don't take what he says at face value, but I get what I can get out of it. And you have to have discernment to understand. You know, and he seems like an intelligent person. This Stephen Greer. I really have tremendous respect for what he's saying, but maybe it's not true. It's all kind of thing. But it's interesting, and it's definitely fascinating, you know. And this man is a scientist. That's the other thing that this Agamizer guy said. You know, it's not scientific. This guy's a scientist. This guy's a doctor. This guy knows what he's talking about, and he's approaching it in a scientific way. He's not pontificating about it. Well, he is a little bit, which is a little uncomfortable, and there are certain cult-like aspects to his ways which make me nervous, and I'm wary of that. But on the other hand, it's interesting. Just like it's interesting to listen to people who I don't agree with at all, you know, or people I agree with part way, you know. I love listening to creationists because, you know, we share some common ground. Even Victor Miller basically gave his haskama to Christian creationism, you know, not 100%, but to a certain extent. So whatever it is, you know, you gotta have discernment enough to know what can you take, what don't you take, what do you take with a grain of salt, and be open-minded. so loved the world, not to give us, as the Christians claim, his only begotten Son, but to give us a standard to live up to. And that it's more than just love, it's respect. He so respected the world. He so, looked up to us that we could get, like how we respect our children and feel that they could grow up and be like us. Maybe. I mean, that sounds kind of morbid, but that's not what I mean exactly. Although the Mormons kind of got that idea from the last Christian books, but it doesn't mean it the way they